think that's
Are we
it.
live? We are live.
We are.
Hello, everybody. We're live. Did you know that?
On
Welcome
the borders
to
of life.
Disability Horizons TV. I'm Mick Scarlett. I'm joined as ever by the usual wonderful superstar that is Zec.
Good evening,
hello.
all. Yeah,
Yay.
sorry, I was poised over the button, ready. You threw me off.
Yes, so now that we've introduced ourselves, let's start the show with the usual professionalism which you are all used to. So hit that button, Zecky boy.
I mean, the guy who does that DHTV should have been a pop star.
Yes, well, what a deep voice he has.
DHTV. So imagine that on one of these cop shows.
Yeah, well, it's funny because that theme tune, I actually wrote for originally, long time ago, for like a film company. They wanted those kind of, ding, 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 and then the graphics go. So I did the graphics and I did the music, and it kind of went, that kind of bit came in, and then the name of the company came up. And we spent hours and hours and hours on it, and then they didn't like it. So I've had it saved for ages. And when we were kind of going, I need a theme tune, I thought, I know a great theme tune that would work perfectly and save me lots of time asking about it. So I just re-edited and then got the mic and went, DHTV. And then stuck it for a shit ton of reverb. And that's it. Oh, I don't need that. Anyway, hello, everybody. Welcome. People are saying hello, everybody. Katie's already back. You were meant to be on the show, Katie, but we didn't have you on because you didn't say you'd be back in time. Oh, well, next time, eh? What are we talking about today, Zec?
We're talking about something that totally threw me, and I had to ask you what it was. Mick said we should talk about disability pride, and I messaged back and said, is that pride in disability, or is that like gay disability scene? Because we've just had Pride Month, and now we go Disability Pride, and I thought,
well, I got very confused because everyone was going, July is Disability Pride Month, and I was thinking, well, Pride in London was in July. All the BBC Pride months seem to be in July, and I was like, oh, okay, so which one is it? But it is actually Disability Pride, i.e. pride in being disabled. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Not that we've rehearsed anything or practiced anything or have any idea what on earth we're talking about.
What I'm going to talk about.
So it may or may not go as pear-shaped as usual. I also had got it all planned to shoot some wonderful footage at Nadex, where I was meant to be on Wednesday, when I was meant to be giving a talk. However, my pain meant that as I was driving up the M1, I got to junction 8 and went, yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to drive to Birmingham. I don't think I'll be able to make it to Luton. So instead, we roared off the motorway at junction 9, did a UE, and came back. And that was it. So you have no footage even of interesting gadgets and meeting famous people because I didn't make it. So anyone that was expecting to see me do a talk, I'm very sorry. And maybe one time we could actually do the talk here on DHTV. That'd be interesting for you.
It's so inconvenient. Bring it to London. How dare you have it north of Luton?
I know.
What's going on?
I understand. Do you know, I understand the fact that what they said was it's in the middle of the country, kind of Birmingham.
Kind of, yeah.
But you kind of go, well, it depends if you include Scotland. But I don't know if they do Nadex Scotland. You know, I'm so old. I remember when Nadex was this really weird thing where all you had was OTs and social workers, and they almost didn't want you if you were disabled going there. Because it was like, oh my God, we don't want you here. This isn't for you. This is for the people that look after you.
I've never been.
If you want to buy anything, if you want to get a wheelchair or any bit of equipment or anything, it's great because you can try everything. It's, you know how hard it is to find anyone that will let you, oh, can I have a go in it? No, everybody's there. It's great to try.
Disability Horizons said to me, come up. I think it was last year, come on up. And it's just my pain levels. I'm not going to make it.
Well, annoyingly, you see, because we had originally been in discussion with Nadex to do this from there, but the Grumpy Gits got in there first. Coming for you.
I don't think they're that grumpy.
No, I don't. I think we're not grumpy. We're just more rambly.
Oh, you haven't seen me off the camera. The only show, I tell you what, I did go to a show. My dad did stone cladding back in the days, and he did this expo show, and I was about 12. And opposite, there was a hot tub stand, and they had all these young girls in bikinis, and the girl said, "Bring your trunks tomorrow, and you can get in with us." So there's me, 12 years old, with all these models in this hot tub, going to my dad.
Ironically, my first ever job was working for a company that builds exhibition stands. And so we used to do the motor show, the boat show. So, all the little ones as well.
Or the motorboat show.
Yeah, the motorboat show as well. And I used to, so I still, whenever I go to those places, I always look and go, I know what that's a piece of trigger struct. That's some octanorm. I know how much you wouldn't believe the amount it costs to get a plug so you can run power. It's so expensive. And if you want your stand carpeted, that's quite expensive too. So I always go and I'm walking around and I'm going, this lot have invested a lot in this exhibition because that costs a lot of money.
And yet he's got a gazebo.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
I've just got on, Avril's just posted, we've gone way off talking about Pride, but
yeah, we'll
Avril is kicking it off here with this.
What's this? I got accused by the current Richmond mayor of wearing my disabilities as a badge of honour. Hey? Well, do you know what, Avril? Exactly. This is why we wanted to talk about disability pride, because I've seen lots of people messaging about it, and lots of other people going, well, why should you be proud of being disabled? And it's like, well, so that's it. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to squirrel down into the idea that you should be proud of being disabled, because squirrel. Actually, I've got. I was looking through my books the other day and I found my Squirrel Nutkin book. That's an original Squirrel Nutkin. Michael, aged 8.
See, I found my book. Show my grandson. Mine was called Ghost Town Treasure. It's like blue cover and like real aged pages about a boy called Kai who lived in a ghost town and he had his horse and yeah.
Yes, that sounds. Yeah, no. How much older than you?
I'm a 1967 model.
Oh, well, that's strange. I'm a 65 model, and yet that sounds like something that my wife would have read. And she's a 50. Can't say too much.
She's not.
So she's younger than me by a bit. So and all of her books are all a bit spacious and like, we met a magic pixie on a thing, and all my books were like Janet went up a hill, John came down a hill, something happened to a cat, and then we all went home. And I remember reading the 3 pirates that were it was Sapphire, Ruby, and Emerald pirates. It was very weird. But no wonder.
In case you're wondering, guys, Mick just counted on his hands, and it looks like he's been in the coal mine. But
I do.
He hasn't. He hasn't been down the coal mine.
Before we get
don't worry, Mick hasn't been doing manual labour. Don't panic.
Well, other than fixing my chair constantly. No, I am on the way back from my Nadex disaster. My wife said, look, stop at the service station, get a bit of recovery, because I was a little bit not fit to drive by this point because the pain was so bad. So I stopped, had some coffee, had some cake and stuff, went to the loo, and the loo was so disgusting. I mean, so disgusting.
Yes, it's turned into pride.
The smell was so rancid that it kind of stayed with me, or so I thought. So I thought, oh, it's just in my nose. I wash my hands and I antibacterial my hands. I kept smelling it. I kept smelling it. God, it's burnt into my nose. And then I realized I'd wheeled through it, hadn't I? So all of my wheels were a bit stinky. So I came home and I cleaned my wheels with kind of bacterial cleany stuff. And they've dissolved my tires. So this is rubber from my tires, and I honestly don't know what to do because it doesn't come out. It makes me look like I have done manual labour, whereas I haven't. So anyway,
disability pride.
That was 9 minutes of waffle there, folks. We haven't even started the subject,
and we could keep going.
So, what do you think about the concept? Do you think are you proud of being disabled?
Do you know what? I don't know if I'm proud of being disabled, but I tried to be proud of what I've achieved. I go through phases, middle of the night. I'm never proud of myself like everyone, but we should be. We should be proud of our achievements because it's bloody hard, isn't it? You know, it takes a lot more for us. I mean, even you driving up and failing.
Yes.
That's not a failure. You made it. You've made it a lot further than I have.
I made it to Junction 9.
Junction 9.
So all the way from Camden up to the M1, Junction 9, swearing got too much, turn around and come back. So yeah. But yeah, and that was what I was thinking. Because I think the whole experience recently has taught me, because I've always said I am proud of being disabled. But then I think there's also an element of which that it's quite hard to be proud of some of the impacts that our impairment causes. Do you know what I mean? Like you know, we both share the thing of chronic pain, and it's quite, when it's really bad, it's quite hard to go, hooray, I'm so proud of being who I am. You'd quite happily go, yes, if I had a genie, I would go, probably, could I do away with all of that stuff, please? But I wonder, would we say we wouldn't want to be disabled? Or would, if in the words of Monty Python, Jesus cured me, he did, but by your leave. Charlie,
to be just a little bit disabled during the week.
Yeah.
You know,
or would we just like to be rid of some of the elements of who we are?
Quite funnily, I decided the other week I'm going to try and walk because I can take a few steps. And I decided I'm going to hold on to my chair. Of course, Donna was out. I totally risked it. And I stood up and I'm 6'4", and I went, oh, I'm not used to being this height. And I felt quite weird with my head at that height. It was like standing on a set of ladders.
Ironically, it is something you've got to watch out for. If you don't do much standing up and you are very tall, your blood supply won't used to pump that hard.
This was like vertigo. This was like
it will be. Yeah. But also, I have this as well because I am afraid of heights. So if I try to stand up, I'm now so afraid of heights. I'm afraid of being 6'3". So 6'4", I'd be out. That'd be bonk. And the worst bit is, of course, is we both would fall over a lot anyway. So the last thing you need to remember is if I fall from here, it's a lot further to fall.
Yeah.
But it's sort of, you know, like lots of people are saying, I'm proud of representing my community and I'm proud of sort of like what people have achieved. And I think that's what it is, isn't it? Is it saying we shouldn't have to be ashamed and we shouldn't have to feel less than someone else who isn't.
Yeah. I mean, for you, it's a little bit different. Like yourself, you know, Tanny Great Thompson, Addy, it's always disabled presenter, Mick Scarlett. It is disabled athlete, Addy. It's always the disability there in your bio.
Yeah, I once got called wheelchair-bound boot boy by The Guardian, which I thought was
have you got a T-shirt
nice.
With it on?
I haven't.
Facebook user says, "Hey Mick Scarlett."
Hey Facebook user, you didn't log into StreamYard, so we don't know your name. But hello, Facebook user. It's good to see we've got some viewers. I think that's the thing, is that's why some people find it quite hard to say that they're proud of being disabled, because too many people equate, it's you, Kira, get your name right, Kira. Seriously, I should know, shouldn't I? Hello, Kira. I think the thing is that lots of people who they get the things about the illness or the impairment or the whatever and being disabled a bit mixed up. And it means that you kind of go, well, I don't like this bit of being disabled, so how can I be proud of it? And I think that what disability pride is saying, but actually we are able to do amazing things given the right support and given the right kind of society, but also that I mean, if I'm honest, I feel arrogantly much more superior than most non-disabled people. Oh no, I said it, they'll know. But because I think that, you know, it's funny, I was watching Sophie Morgan the other day she was on a radio show or something saying, well, I think most people, you know, people say, oh, you're so brave, but actually lots of people would probably be okay. They'd learn to cope. And that's probably true.
It's amazing what we do cope with.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I also
think a lot of people
don't.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't. I've met a lot of people, because I do a lot of stuff around sort of around assisted dying or assisted suicide, and I'm kind of very anti that because of the way society thinks about us at the moment. I think it's all right if you want to kill yourself, but don't ask society to do it. Anyway, that's another show where we can get really deep. But I think that I've met a lot of people that genuinely say, I would like to be dead because I'm disabled. And so I think that's got a load of other stuff, that's societal stuff, that's not. But that's the problem. So what we got? Look at that. No. Kira, I don't like inspiration porn, nor do I.
No.
Do you know what? It's funny because I think this is one of the things, is it all gets tied up. You've got disability pride and that kind of, oh, aren't you inspirational? And I always say, what have you inspired me to do? What has seeing me inspired you to do? What do you want to dye your hair a stupid color? Do you want to move your computer into a different room so you've got a different background perchance? Or what is it? If you say, well, I see in Zec, it's inspired me to grow a marvelous beard. Brilliant. I have been, Zec has been inspirational. But if they mean, well, your life is so awful compared to mine, so therefore seeing you and you're doing something, that's inspired me to
look
relook at my life.
He's a cripple and yet he grew a beard.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that. I mean, I do get peed off. I mean, that classic one, I can remember years ago, my wife going, look, and there's a guy hoisting himself up a rock face with all the climbing gear, still strapped into his wheelchair. And I'm like, oh, but then why is he dragging his wheelchair? And it's only because he's going, look, I'm disabled. There's no reason for him to drag his chair up there because there's not like an accessible path at the top, I wouldn't think. It's just that, look at this. And then we've got the guy at the wedding with his two mates helping to stand up to dance with his bride, because if he was in his chair, it would just be shit, wouldn't it?
Now, what you must never do when you see that film is comment on it.
Oh dear.
Because then you get the sea of hate. Because, of course, when you point out that you are also disabled and therefore, you don't think it's very helpful to the whole situation that someone is lifted up to dance with their wife, because dancing with your wife can only happen if you're standing up for some reason. And, they don't get it, and you get piled on. And again, this is the thing about disability pride, is those will be the same people going, how dare you say that person isn't wonderful for wanting to stand to dance with their wife? It's not you. How dare, it's not up to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's his choice.
People that will say it's horrible being disabled.
It's his choice, but how lovely would it have been? Here's the video, sits her on his lap and they wheel around, they have a lovely dance. He's proud of being disabled. I've just got married. I'm dancing with my wife.
Yeah. I danced with my wife at our wedding. She sat on my lap. Big, I think that's what it needs to be. I mean, I think it's funny because I used to go to gay pride a lot when I was young, because I had a load of gay mates. We all went down together, and because I felt there was a real kindred sort of spirit thing going on, where lots of my mates were picked on because they were gay, and I was picked on because I was disabled, and let's face it, I was very cute, so they did quite like having me around. So kind of, but that was a very different thing back then as well. And I think one of the things about disability pride, one, I'd never heard of it before, so I don't know how long it's been running for, but this is the first year I've ever heard of it at all. So we've probably got some catching up to do, seeing the first.
It's not as clear cut as gay pride, is it? Gay pride's like you're proud to be gay, but disability pride, it's complicated.
Well, I think the thing is it though, because I think you can be proud of being disabled if you look upon it as something. Hey, we're going to get social modelly on you, folks. Where it is placed upon you, because I always think, and it's funny, I always think when people say about chronic pain, they go, I'm in chronic pain. How can that be societal? But it is, because one, we both know the treatment for chronic pain is appalling. Right, you get it's very useless. It's just chuck drugs at you or leave it, right? And that doesn't work. Or you've got this new fad now of going, hey, you know what you need to do? Think yourself happy. Why don't you try some exercise? And it's like, no, you don't get it. That isn't us. That's society. That's medicine. That's the way the world thinks. Thinking less in a way that disables us. And it could be. It's not that complex a system to stop pain. So as I've always said, there must be a way of doing it. They just can't be really asked.
There is. I watched a program. They got a load of these people that can push needles through their faces and stuff and not feel pain, and they think they've isolated the gene, and so they may be able to. But obviously, they don't want to turn off the feeling of hot and cold and stuff.
Because this is the stupid thing. It's like, because I'm having this at the moment with. Oh yeah, that was something you see that I'm quite pleased about today. Day before yesterday, I got a letter from about 2019. I was in a car crash, quite a bad one. Going down the motorway again, and a guy just pulls out, pins me up against the central reservation. It ended very badly. Anyway, it now appears that all the pain I'm in is because of an injury I got from that. So I now know what's wrong. Hooray! Whether they can fix it, I know not. But it's again, it's the thing. Because I think we should be proud of being disabled because of the fact that we still get on with it. It's almost the other side of the I want to die thing. It's the fact we don't. We get on with life. We live life to the fullest we can. And I think that if we were all given much more support and we had a society that was more inclusive and accessible and understanding, we'd be even more amazing. So being proud of being disabled is important so that in the future it gets better. And I've just read Avril's comment that Mik may be an inspiration for a friend with a recently acquired disability. He doesn't think he'll be able to get on stage and sing and play bass again. Well, exactly. And do you know why that is? Because there isn't anyone doing it now. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean. That's why I think we need to be proud and we need to be out and we need to be really visible. Like John Kelly's got an album coming out soon. And, you know, he's playing at the South Bank Centre. Suddenly, newly disabled people who maybe were musicians, not magicians. That's a whole other thing. That's a rabbit from a hat, not a guitar. But anyway, it has been a long day. They will be able to go, oh, well, John can do it. I can do it. Mik did it. I can do it. Do you see what I mean? And I think that's, so we have to talk about our history. We have to talk about who we were, who was there. Because then, so I do think we should be proud. And I think that there's a lot that we have to be proud of. And I think, you know.
But I do have to point out, we've got two halves of the camera here. Here we have Mik Scarlett, who has had a career, who's pushed himself, keeps pushing himself, still working. And here we have Zec. And I have to admit that it's all very good. Oh, look, there's Zec, he does all this. No, his photos do. I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night because I'm in pain. I get up, I'll sit on the settee and I'm on the laptop. And there's many days every week where I do absolutely naffle because I can do naffle because then I have a burst of going for it and then I'm back. So I'm not one of these that's achieving. I'm totally reliant on welfare because of my disability and my health. And due to my anxiety, I don't now. CBD has helped me, but my PTSD totally knackered me, and I hid away from the world because I couldn't face going out. So there are people that won't feel very proud because they feel like I'm not making an effort, but that's okay. You've got to do what you do to survive.
The thing is, again, this is the problem with the idea of inspirational and all this stuff is I think you can be just as inspired, just as amazing not going out and not doing stuff as you can doing stuff. It's not fair that people go, oh, well, you should be proud because look, that guy is doing that thing or Mik's doing this or so, because it's about building a life for yourself. And
but people will judge. Society will judge. They go, hang on, look, Zec, you're in a wheelchair. You're in a wheelchair. You're in pain. Why are you laid on the settee when Mik is out there and working? So if he can do it, why are you on benefits? Why are we paying for you to laze around? Because people bundle us all into the same little box.
I mean, the thing is that one of the big differences is, and that's funny, because when I went to my big pain clinic period where I was learning to mindfulness myself, another load of old rubbish, but it was,
I hate mindfulness.
But when I did that, the nurse that was running it said, well, one of the things to remember for you is you were probably in pain in utero, because I was born with a tumor the size of a tennis ball. So that had been growing in me since I was like a little weird tadpole creature. So, I probably have a very different way of managing pain than other people do. Do you know what I mean? And when I was doing that course as well, the other thing we learned was everyone's worst pain is everyone's worst pain. So if you've got someone that goes, oh, pulled a muscle in my knee, it's agony. There's not this, top trumps. Oh, well, that's nothing. I've got trapped nerves.
It can't hurt because my pain's worse.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's worst pain is their worst pain. So
Yeah.
that's a real important point.
And people don't get the full picture. I mean, look at me. There he is in the shirt. Zec's looking very good. Boxer shorts.
Well, I'm on the sofa rather than in the studio because I don't want to sit in my chair for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I must admit my back is rather moist. Nasty. I'm gonna look, disability pride. I'm sorry, Mick and I obviously chat a lot, and we've been talking before. Now, if you have a look over Mick's right shoulder, unless he's on mirror, there's an old piano. Now that isn't just an old piano. Go on, Mick, tell us about your old piano. Well, I know it's not disability
going
pride,
off tangent as well. This is a piano I bought that used to be used on the BBC to be played by various pop stars. So this piano has been touched by David Bowie, Roxy Music, and many others.
Oh, I'm a jealous guy.
And if you watch, it's what's it called? It's a Minx, Kemble Minx, right? And if you watch, there's certain footage of I can't remember what the songs are there. I think Virginia Plain. I think he plays Roxy Music plays it, and they basically stick different coloured material over the back with safety with drawing pins, and I was like, mate was going, oh, it's just like your piano, and I was like, oh, don't be silly, now. And then I turned it around, and there's actually the holes from the drawing pins. So I was like, so that guy that told me it, I was like, yeah, right, okay, I'll pay you a little bit more. I only bought it because it actually matches a drinks cabinet we've got. So I didn't. When you get these people that go, "Oh yeah, mate, it was this," and you're like, "Yeah, right, yeah, cool. Oh yeah. Gary Newman played this Moog. Oh, did he? I'm sure. But do you know what I mean? So, and it is. So that's kind of cool.
But Mick is very proud.
Yeah. So I've actually had people come round and pose with this piano, so they can tell their mates they touched the piano David Bowie touched.
No licking the piano.
I think it's been a little bit touched and cleaned sort of since then. I don't think there's any DNA. I wouldn't be able to clone him and bring him back, but there we go. Katie said you both sound like you aren't coping in the heat. No. Do you know what? Today I tried to go out on my hand cycle. So I thought,
DHTV accessible garden is hang on a bit. My garden looks bloody amazing. My garden looks good at a distance in photos. I've had to not be so OTT with it. If you look close, there are weeds in there, and I've had to go, I don't see them. There's borders I can't get to the back of anymore, and I'm like, just don't look because it will bug me. But I've been out and I've chopped the other day in all the heat, I chopped all the palms back so they're going up. Totally knackered myself, made myself so unwell. It's fun.
The thing is, though, that's the thing as well. When you were saying about, well, look, Mick does that and they do that and I don't do. That's what we do too. Do you know what I mean? You only see the day that we're doing stuff. You don't see. I went to Nadex. I laid on this sofa. Why am I sat on the sofa? Because I'm still suffering from Nadex. I tried to go out today to see if doing a bit of exercise would help. No, it doesn't. And I think that's what I mean is if we judge ourselves by either other people, we will never live up to it. I will always think I could be thinner.
We don't see these disability icons when they're at home having a rough day.
No, that's it. And it's like all of them, from what I understand, have problems of some way or other when they overdo it. And I know for a fact that the industry still, the media still doesn't understand reasonable adjustment. So there's no way that they're given, they're not made to do stuff that's really physically demanding. So trust me, they will break and go home just like the rest of us.
And bloody dangerous. I mean, Sophie Morgan posted, if you wondered how things get done, and there's a personal assistant carrying her down these little stone steps to get onto a boat, and it's like one slip and bloody hell.
I couldn't. I mean, I've been on shoots years ago where that kind of thing happened, and I would have, that getting insurance was almost impossible. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're like now, but let's see what we got. Okay, I have an object that used to be used by the BBC too, Mick.
1 foot in the grave.
Oh, 1 foot in the grave. I always wanted to be on 1 foot in the grave. I always wanted to apply and say, can I be the new neighbour? And he starts off going, look at the state of what the people have moved in next door. Some punky bloke in a wheelchair, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the series, we both end up sat at the end of the garden, both going, I don't bloody believe it. Because I am, of course, that much of a miserable sod too.
My wife used to call me Victor Meldrew, and the show copied me. We got a car on Motability, and it happened as we picked it up. It was the show where he had the same Nissan Almira in the same burgundy colour where they put a number plate on, like, I can't remember what they put, like Pizzo or something. And then we went and got off the catalogue a Toshiba TV that turned up in a ridiculously massive box, and he got a Toshiba TV with his big box, and my wife's like, see?
Yeah.
They're copying you.
I
don't believe it.
My friend actually got me for a birthday. I mean, this is decades ago. A load of stickers that said, I don't bloody believe it, because I used to say it all the while.
Oh, I love that show. We're going way...
We are going way off topic.
Welcome to DHTV. This is Disability Horizons, talking about pride.
Talking about stuff. Other things. Pride in stuff.
What we do is we give a show a title, and then we just talk about whatever we
come
want.
up with stuff. Do you know what? It's funny. I was looking online, and someone said, "What do you use when you do your podcasts for notes?" And I went, "What? No, notes?" We ironically, I do remember when we started. I used to write a page of notes.
Yeah, used to send us through
and then no more.
Then we were like, we're not following it. Just forget that.
Yeah. So I suppose, I mean, and that's, coming back to pride, I think that's the thing.
I mean, we have to be proud of waffling on for half an hour every other week.
This takes effort. Pride of the effort it takes to do this without sounding like you're making it up as you go along. What was that? You do sound like you're making it up as you go along. Oh, well, in that case.
There we go. Look, it's a question.
Right, what's the achievement you're most proud of? Ooh, see, questions, bit difficult. Zec, what's your proudest achievement?
What, whilst being disabled? It's probably my garden and the fact that I managed to do beekeeping, even though I'm giving it up now. It's these things that I've pushed myself to do. Yeah. 100 foot by 40 foot, which was just grass, is now looking pretty okay. I mean, not at the moment. The sun and the heat has killed the grass, and I'm not paying to water it. But probably my garden.
And that I think is the thing to remember, is that is still an effort for you. That's exactly the same effort as doing, as someone climbing up a mountain in my book.
Yeah, I mean, I've weeded, I've bum shuffled along, and I've weeded, and I've made myself so unwell that I've got, and I've left my wheelchair because I've bum shuffled away, and I thought I'm just going to have a sleep. And I've fallen asleep for an hour.
What, out there?
Out there, yeah. Hat over my face, and I'm gone.
I think, that's brilliant. And that is what I think is pride should be about. It should be about the things that bring you joy that you have learned a way of doing. Because I think that's, I don't know about you, but I know every time anything has changed in my life, no one has ever given me any instruction or anything, any guidance on what to do. I have rebuilt myself. And going back to the question, what's your most proud, what's the achievement you're most proud of? I think that's probably mine, is I have rebuilt my life on countless occasions from total shite. I mean, I when I was at the peak of my TV career, I was ill, it all went. I disappeared off TV. People always go, where did you go? And it's like, because I tried not to die, to be honest. My spine just shattered and fell to pieces, and it was all very bad. And they rebuilt me, and then I rebuilt my life. So I rebuilt a career. I rebuilt going out everywhere, and I won't deny I did it with Diane by my side, my wonderful wife. She helped me on the way. But I think that's something that we have, all of us, I think, as disabled people, have got to be proud of, is that we don't live in a society that goes, I will support you, I will help you. You know, that you go, oh, you've got to go to social services. It's a fight to get them to come round. It's a fight to get them to do anything. Oh, you're entitled to benefits, but you have to fight to get them. You know,
they don't
oh,
tell you what you can have.
No,
you
no one ever
find
says
it
what
out.
you can have, how you can have it, how to apply. No one helps you apply, right? So you do all this fighting, and then everyone tells you you're scum because you're on the benefits, or I mean, even people like I'm working, still get some benefits. I get access to work to make sure I can work, and then I get PIP, and people still go, oh, it's all right for you, your free car and your free house. And it's like, no, I pay rent on my flat, and my car costs me 60, 70 quid a bloody week.
And you will continue to reinvent yourself as you get older. And we're talking about disability and age. We're going to have to find different ways to keep doing things.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. If there's nothing else that you're proud of, if you haven't gotten a proudest achievement, and you're not like some bullshit politico like me that kind of sees disability pride as an act of rebellion, right? Be proud of what you've done in your life to be happy.
Even if it's getting through each day. Exactly. Even if it's getting through each day in absolute, like those times where we all have, when we're really unwell, really in pain, or an illness that would normally cause most people to feel a bit poorly, but wipes us out, and we make it through to the other side.
Yeah. I mean, because I think that's it. I think that, like I said, there I was in my pain clinic, and we were discussing. There was, I think I've said this before, there was 3 people that were actually like dying of cancer. There was some people like me that are kind of in that position where you're going to permanently have very bad pain. And then there were some people with like a hurty elbow or a hurty knee or something. And it's like, while I do believe that you've got this idea that pain is all relative. There is also a point to be remembered, underneath it all. But like that person is going, oh, my knee really hurts. And you're like, oh, arthritis of the knee. Oh, that's okay. I've only had that for 15 years. Oh, I've got arthritis of both shoulders. I've got arthritis of my fingers because of wheeling my chair. That's not the pain that bothers me. The pain that bothers me at the minute is the fact that my spine is crumbling at the base and all the nerves are being crushed. So they're telling me that my legs are on fire or whatever. So it's as I said, at the moment, my body is torturing me, and I'm still sane, and I'm still getting on with it. And I think that if I ask
ladies and gentlemen, Mick Scarlett thinks he's sane.
Right, but
sorry, Avril. What government policy are you most proud we have in the UK? I'm really crap on politics. It's certainly not sending people. What government
policy are you most proud? Do you know what? It's funny because I do a lot of work training, like business and government bodies, especially what their legal obligation is. And if everybody did their job right and everybody followed the law, life would be a lot easier. And I think that one of the big ones we have that if only everyone did is the public sector equality duty, which is part of the Equality Act that almost no one talks about, other than whenever anyone says, where's your EQIA, which is an equality impact assessment. And what that is it says that any public body, anybody with public funding, money from the government, should have an extra requirement to make sure they don't disadvantage any minority protected by the Equality Act. So while the Equality Act's a bit woolly, oh, don't do it, reasonable adjustment, we're not sure, right? The public sector equality duty is really strict, and it basically says you cannot do something that harms anyone from the 9 protected characteristics unless you have done a very thorough assessment of what's going on and you've found a way of mitigating that. So making it less.
Avril says it's now called the Equality Impact Needs Assessment. Hey, you learn something new every day. Yeah, I must admit, because there's up at Garrans here, Mick's going to Garrans next week to see the Human League, but there's lots of things they're doing. Southend Council are pushing it out, and one of them, they've got a thing called The Shed, and it's a woodworking shed for blokes, and it's really cheap, and they've got all the tools. And
cool.
The older one's a teacher, and I thought, well, I'd like to go with that. I do a bit of wood carving, but I haven't got tools to cut wood down. Yeah. And it's all accessible, the whole lot. And I thought, I'm going to have a go at that. £2 to have a go and use all the machinery. And like you say, it's fully accessible.
And this is the thing, this is why when people go, oh, well, I haven't pushed myself and I haven't done. One of the reasons why is because everything is so bloody hard, right? like, you know, I mean, I've been trying to get moved from where I live because I know I've got surgery coming up and I won't be able to recover from here because we live on a hill, everything's downhill, it's very difficult. So I'm trying to get moved to somewhere flatter so I can go out short, and you go out a little bit and then go back and then go a bit further and a bit further and a bit, and that's how you get better. But if you live somewhere where there isn't anything to do,
well, you're right, going out, it's getting home, isn't it?
Get so far that you get stuck. Get to junction 9, have to come back. But it's so you know that's the thing. There's something that you find appealing that is accessible. So you'll go there, and the first time it might be a bit much. You'll go home, you spend 3 days on the sofa. Next week you'll go, you might spend 2.5 days on the sofa. The next time, 2 days. And then eventually you'll be able to go there and go, do you know what? Yeah, this is going to knacker me for a day. But that's all right, because I've had a really good time.
Yeah.
And that is it. And I think that's the thing that means, so it's really hard to be proud if you live in a society that goes, no, not you. You can't come in. Well, you're not welcome. You know, or hello, welcome to your lovely accessible toilet that smells so strongly of ammonia it dissolves your tyres forever.
We found this out. I'm off up to Finchley in October, and so I did, well, because of the journey, and I've got this meeting the next day. Should we stay over the night before somewhere? Yeah. But you try going on one of these booking sites online and saying you need an accessible room. There's nothing really to tick.
Yeah.
And so it's phoning every single place up and then saying, right, you're saying it's accessible. Has it got a handrail beside the toilet? Yep. Yes, it's got them. Right. Is the shower accessible? Has it got a seat? Can I get in there? Yeah, it's got that. And it's this whole... So, right, so you're disabled. Did you want twin beds? No.
No.
Oh, I want a king-size bed. I might even, thank you very much. Still works.
Who knows? Still
No, I won't. I'm busy the next day.
Plum tuck it out, as they say.
You take all these things into account. We make adjustments for all these things. No nookie tonight. You've got a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. Right.
But see, again, this is the point. But both things you've said, I think, there's an element of pride in there. One, you have done all that chasing to find a hotel. Have you got this? Have you got that? Have you got this? That information should be available to us. It shouldn't be a battle, but it is. So we should be proud of the fact we fight that battle and don't just give in, right? Because we don't. I don't know anyone that just says, "Oh, forget it. I'm just going to stay at home all day with a bag on my head because life's too hard."
They said to me, you can do this meeting via Zoom if you want, but the type of thing that I'm going for, to do it by Zoom, it will just lose everything that it's meant to be about. As you know, I'm from Jewish ancestry, but I'm finally reconnecting that Jewish, and I've been studying for a year, and I'm going up to the Beit Din, which is inaccessible. It's not accessible. I've got to bum shuffle up the steps. And then the meeting room's upstairs, but they said, it's right, we'll come down to you for your one. And then I've got to get in the mikveh, which is like a big spiritual bath. But that's up 3 steps and then down 5 steps. But I will do it. It won't be a spiritual plunge. I will do it. It's going to be more a chunk dunk. I may just throw myself in.
Yes. You won't, you're not going to go in and slowly lower yourself in and come out again. You're just going to kind of dive in like an orca. and then could you... Got him. It's all right.
Yeah, just like one of those seals that just flop off the side.
This is why, you see, I've never really decided to convert to any religion, because I know there'll be some kind of difficulty, and it's like, forget that. I'll just stay a weird non-believer. And
this has been with
me.
And
on my deathbed, I'm thinking of converting. Which one do you think
I first tried 30 years ago is when I first looked into this, and I've finally bloody done it. But that got me. I wheeled into. I went out the other day. I went to the barbers. First time to the barber since 1998.
Let's have a look. Oh, that's a bit.
Because it was all a bit long. So on the way back, I phoned the wife and I said, "Anything you want?" She said, "I'll get some bread and butter and some milk." So, right. So I wheel into this shop, and they've got a slope. I know that, and they're normally very friendly. But it's summer, and I've got the sleeves rolled up, and I go in, and it was like the Wild West Saloon. The door opened. And they all looked at me. The piano stopped playing, and it felt so horrible. It was so uncomfortable. And all I could think is that I've got this on show, and they're obviously the possibly Muslim shop. When you know someone doesn't like you.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, ironically, because I know we're nearly near the end, but we'll keep going. No one will ask. again, another thing I think that there should be an element of pride about is how often do you go out and have this feeling that people don't want you there, and you kind of go on and you carry on and you keep and you go, I'm not going to give in to this societal pressure. And and I think the thing is, this is where the idea of pride does work for, because there's pride in lots of other groups have got this concept of pride because they've fought through all this.
Yeah.
And I don't think we realise how much we fight, and therefore how much we should be proud of the fight we've had. So I think that's it. When you went into that shop and you felt that, you had a part of you that was like, well, I'm going to go through this because I'm proud to be Jewish. And I think that's,
I'm wearing my kippah when I go in next time.
Next time I see you, you'll have locks and everything, mate.
I think one of the first disabled people I ever remember meeting, I was 17. I was in Kent with a girlfriend's family, and we went to Canterbury, and we got lost. And they're like trying to ask people where to go. And one of those blue, they used to call them the invalid carriages. So let's stop. We're looking for blah blah. And he went, yeah, follow me. Fucking those things. Follow him. It was like a Grand Prix, and this guy thumbs out the window. He was so proud that he was so bloody quick and could beat us away from every set of lights.
They were great in a straight line, not so good on corners.
No, bloody quick. And he was, I tell you what, this guy was beaming. And when we got there, it was like, just still remember him many years later. Is anybody watching? Was that you in your
if you are watching,
I'd love to know if that was you in Canterbury in 19, I don't know, 84.
84.
84.
Oh, good
84.
year. Good year.
Oh, 84.
What a year. 19.
Yes.
I lost my virginity that year. Yes, I did. Anyway.
7.
Oh,
see, I was a slut.
Well,
I lost my virginity bunking off to school in one of those old pill boxes that smelt of piss and like full of litter. I went in there to bunk off, and there was a girl in the year above me from school, and she had a different idea of how we could pass time.
Well, there you go. That's not quite my story. I lost mine to my first love, so it was very sweet. Oh
no, I mean, after that and about 40 more, then I met Donna. It was all right.
Oh dear.
You wait till you're in there. My cousin looked like Tom Cruise. He had loads of money. He worked in London, and we'd go out and he'd chat to the girls. They'd always be, "Oh, you're right. It was all right." And then I can remember once they went, "And what do you do to make the city?" And I went, "Just a fireman." And they're like, "Oh," and that was the day. I'm like, "Oh, bloody hell."
Yeah. I used to have a very lovely friend who would regularly ring the fire service because she'd got her toe stuck in the bath tap. This is before mobile, so she'd bring the phone on a cable into the bathroom and then ram her toe into the tap. The big taps with the thing. Yeah. Ram her toe in that and then ring up, and would be obviously in a state of undress, and then all the firemen would come in, and eventually they refused to come out because
we had a woman over the ministry.
Oh, not you again.
Yeah, we had a woman over the MOD, and we'd get sent on tasks when we weren't busy on the ranges firing, on tasks. And there was the old ranges, which was like the barracks, which is now housing down there. And there was a woman left over. I don't know if she was divorced, but she still lived in the house, and her husband was gone. And you knew if you got sent there, she was going to open the door in the slinkiest little negligee. And we're going, some guys were really happy to go there, and others were like, "Go on, lads, you go do that. I'm just going to have a cup of tea."
Just not, yeah. Ah, dear. Well,
what a life I've led.
What a life. I mean, you must write a book.
No, can't be bothered.
Do it in sections. My youth up to the pillbox. My youth.
I've actually got. I've got a plan. I've had a plan for. I don't do my reviews now. The Life and Times of Grizzly Zec, so called because you remember the Life and Times of Grizzly Adams with his bear and his big beard. So, and it's just going to be videos on YouTube about my life. And
good idea. And I've got some toy teddy bears. I'll send you a really small toy teddy bear, and you can go, "I'm Grizzly Zec, and this is my bear." Sorry. Every time I look at my camera, the colours change. I've gone all orange now. Before I was
Oh,
black.
it makes a change. It's normally me that's changing colour. We've swapped.
Oh, there you go. Oh, no,
So did we cover? Did we talk about Pride?
We sort of did a bit, yes.
Yeah.
I think what we got here.
Yeah, we've got Katie and Avril. We've got Kira, who should be very proud of what they've done.
I think Avril is right. I think the thing is we don't have a kind of overarching campaign for everybody, like because there's lots of different impairment groups that kind of go, well, I'm not like them and I'm not like them.
Yeah.
Again, this is why I'm a big social model fan. Because while I don't know what it's like to be blind or deaf, I don't know what it's like to be autistic. I don't know lots of things I don't share the experience of, but I do share the experience of being treated differently because of who I am. And I think that is, and I think not only that, of being treated less well, of being excluded, of being expected to do less, of being part of all the tropes and stereotypes. I think Penny Pepper had an article in the Mirror saying about disability and sexuality and how you're not expected to be sexual. And apparently Woman's Hour had another thing on going, well, it's really nice that, prostitutes will go with disabled people because no one else will or something. And it's this whole, that's the thing. We live in a society that says being us is bad. Being us is sad. And being us is really a waste of a wonderful life. Oh, I don't care what my baby is as long as it's healthy, right? That kind of thing. And we still live in a world where that's what we're taught.
Yeah, talking of disability pride, though, I don't know him, but on Twitter today they were discussing this campaigner who has died. And there was this photo of him sat in the wheelchair, and it looks like he's got this big long caftan on, and he's just sat there kind of like, screw everybody else. Somebody must know his name. I looked on Twitter, and his died, and was going, oh, it's a shame, blah, blah's died. And obviously they think we all know each other. But
I think I think that's another thing that I think, we are overrunning horrendously now, but it doesn't matter. I think that one of the big things to remember is that that's another thing that we should be really proud of is the people that have been before. Like I've got lots of friends who have died in the last 10 years and they did so much for getting us to where we are. And again, I'm on my history high horse, but I kind of think we should really remember them. And I think that's part of what this year disability pride, gay pride has been, LGBTQ plus pride has been about history. And you've seen loads about the history of pride and all the, the whole story of AIDS and how that affected everybody. And I think it's been really amazing. And I think that we as a community need to do something similar, and we need to start championing and celebrating the people that have been before us, because if nothing else, they're people I knew and I loved, and I think that it would be sad if we forgot them because they were so amazing. From big people like sort of, well, I don't know, lots of people, to be honest. The list. That's one of the things I think that we don't talk about a lot is the fact that as you get older and you're disabled, lots of people who you really liked just go, and it's like this is really grim because they went long before they should have done.
We all worry about being forgotten. I think that's part of it.
Especially me with my ego.
Mik who? Don't worry, I'll keep playing the video. If you go before me, I'll keep playing that. I'll keep playing that. And if people are wondering what I'm on about, I'll keep playing this.
And there you go. And I've still got time to read my paper.
There you go. We keep that playing forever.
Do you know what? I think that might have been partly to do with why my back went, because I can't never forget how much that hurt when I hit that chair. I had to go, ha, 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 ha. I wanted to go, ah! But yeah, that was, see, there you go. See, another proof that health and safety on set hasn't really improved.
No.
Well, I suppose
think that's
we
a
should
good...
call it a day, really.
Yeah, we should do. We're meant to finish a
just be a live show that never ends. So
and we're still going to talk on and not discuss disability pride.
Yes, exactly. Oh, my computer's telling me something strange. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Sorry, I'm doing it on my new laptop.
The proud achievements of Alan Benson.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, admittedly, he's still alive. So that's not.
Oh, not him then. Okay.
Oh, hang on. Is that no? Don't tell me that. No. I've got. Sorry, folks. Talk amongst yourselves. I've got to find this out because if that's,
This guy's like,
no.
no, he's still alive. It's all right, cancel that. Alan's still going. We're okay. Alan's okay. I can't remember the guy's name, and I feel really bad. I wish I'd taken a screenshot because this guy sat there. It was a bit of an education secretary. He was like, yeah.
Cool. You actually made my heart jump there because Anyway, that's good. Hooray! He's still good. Because
It's all right, Alan. It's all right, Alan. Carry on. You're okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Cancel the ambulance.
Ah, dear, what a way to end the show, eh? If we'd have ended a minute earlier, it would have been all right. Anyway, folks, I suppose with that, I would just like to say to you all, never ever let society make you feel small. Never let society stop you feeling proud of what you've done and who you are. Because at the end of the day, if we all feel a little bit of that every morning and every night, when you wake up, feel it, and when you go to sleep, feel it, then the world will be a bit of a better place.
She's told me not to do that. Donna's told me not to feel it before I go to sleep and when I wake up. I get mixed messages.
See, you're lowering the tone again. There was I giving an inspirational thought for today, a meme that everyone could put on their social media with Mick Scarlett, and you just turned it into a joke about your Todger.
Don't matter, does it? When it's that small, don't matter. Right. We could go now before it gets any worse, I think.
Yes. So,
say goodbye, Mick.
Say goodbye. Bye. Oh, look at my hands. Dirty hands.
Dirty hands. We will see you in a fortnight where Katie will be on. We thought she was going to be away this weekend. Katie will be with us in 2 weeks' time.
Yes. So, Katie, please send us something you want to talk about because we're
the only problem with that. Who's going to comment?
We've got to get some guests on because otherwise we just do this and it's like about 30 minutes in, everyone goes, are they just going to keep going and more about rubbish? Yes, we're going. Go.
Bye.
Bye, folks.